Thank you. Biblical word study, one word at a time, one verse at a time, one chapter at a time until we get it, and we never will. And we were looking at a lot of good stuff. Last week we were doing well, basically predestination, and but we looked at a bunch of verses that have the phrases before the foundation of the world, from the foundation of the world. We went through all of those. There's a whole bunch of them, and we cross-reference all of those from the beginning, from the foundation of the world, before the foundation of the world. And there was a bunch of good verses there. And that got me to thinking about ordination and to be ordained and that out of there. And what was the other word? For ordination. I got ordained, appointed, and stuff. And we know all of the famous ones. 4309. We're talking about predestination. Pro horizo. All right, that's to determine before, and we know that it's pro meaning before, and horizo meaning like horizon or a boundary or something. So when you're in the boundary, you can't get out of it, and God made it, and that's it. So and Jim talks about the horizon being the separation of light and darkness. So we're pre-bound for the light, and that's good. He stretches out these things, but that's good. But it's pre-bound. And it's the horizo is the boundary. So it's to define a mark, to mark out boundaries or limits. So that's it. And he foreordained that. And he told them in the garden. He says, "Here's all the trees you can eat from, and you see that one over there? Can't go it. Do a circle around it. Says don't go past that line. That's the boundary." And they broke the boundary and they went past it. So we know what happened after that. That's the fall. So and these verses we're all familiar with them. Acts 4:28, when he talks about what happened, he says, "For of a truth," in 27, "against thy holy child Jesus, who thou hast anointed." Okay, there's the word anoint. Let's look up anointed. That's the charisma, the creo. Okay, anoint. All right, and that's another word for predestination too. You can put that as a synonym. But both Herod, Pontius Pilate, with the Gentiles and the people of Israel were gathered together for to do whatsoever thy hand and thy counsel determined before. And that determined before is the word pro horizo, to be done. So the murder of Christ was a predestined act of God. So that's what that is. And then this Romans 8:29, for whom he did foreknow. We know foreknow is prognosko. Let's put it up here. Prognosko, to know beforehand, to have knowledge beforehand. Foreordained, pro, of course, meaning before, and gnosko means to know before. Real simple. He also did what? Predestinate, pro horizo. To be conformed, that's sum morphos. It's one word, and it's an adjective. Some people think it's a verb, but it's an adjective. Sum and morphos, morphe, means to form with. So we're being formed with. Whoops, what happened here? Form with, to conform to what? To the image, the icon of his son, Jesus. That he might be is not there. It's that he will be the firstborn among many brethren, and moreover whom, and we say whom now because we know it's not like what he foreknew or what he predestinated. It's whom. So there's a people, and that's us. So moreover whom he did predestinate, them he also called, kaleo, to call out. And whom he called, them he also justified, dikaiao, justify. And to whom he justified, them he also glorified. So that's the end. That's the doxazo. That's to go to glory. And that's what we're looking for in the end over here. Glory. And then 1 Corinthians 2:7, he says, but we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory. So it's something that was in his mind. And we can think of it like today, if you wanted to talk to these kids, you say, look, God programmed this computer. He hit the enter button and everything's happened exactly how he wanted it. Nothing's going to change. You know, like you can pray all you want, but it's not going to change anything. It's happening exactly how he wants it, exactly how he planned it. And he was ordained before the world unto glory. And it's his glory, you know. And Ephesians 1, 5 and 11, having predestinated us unto the adoption, huiothesia, adoption of children. It's from huios, which is child or son, and titheme, I think it is. Huiothesia. And titheme, yeah, to lay or to put or to place. So it's to place sons, and where we're going to be placed in a family. Adoption of children by Jesus Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. We can read down to it, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved, in whom we have redemption through his blood. And we looked up all these words, redemption, through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace, wherein he hath abounded toward us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, and we know the mystery is the church, according to his good pleasure, which he hath purposed in himself. So he's doing it all. It's all for him. That in the dispensation of the fullness of times, a dispensation, oikonomia, and we know oikos is the house, and nomia is the law. So it's the law of the house. Oikos, all right, that's house. Come on. All right. I got this new thing here. It's playing with me. Oikos, house or household, and nomos. I don't know. There we go. Nomos is the law. So it's the law of the house. Then in the dispensation of the fullness, that's the pleroma. Yeah, the fullness. It's like teleates. It's like completeness, fullness of times. He might gather together in one all things, even in Christ, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, even in him, in whom also we have obtained an inheritance. And that's kleruo, obtain an inheritance, one time in the Bible. And it comes from kleros, which means a lot or a pot or an inheritance. You know, you roll the dice and you get the pot. You pick the straw out of the hand and you get it. You obtain that inheritance being what? Being prohorizo, being predestinated. According to the purpose, whose purpose? Of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. So you see that all three. He's doing it all. It's for his will, it's for his glory. And we're gonna get out. We're gonna make it on that, you know, because he loves us. And he wants us, but it's all for his good pleasure. There you guys are. All right. That was the 4309. That's a pro-horizo. Jim talks about that all the time. We know about that. And then this, let me give you, I got a few things up here. I should have kept one of them pages. Here we go. This is 3724. I think that's part of this horizo thing. 3724. That's the horizo. That's the horizon. No, that's determined. Yeah, that's the horizo, to determine. Ordained. And truly the Son of Man goeth as it was determined, but woe unto the man to whom he's parade. So this is part of prohorizo. It's the suffix on the word prohorizo, and it's just about the boundary. But this is a different here. This is to mark off the boundary. He says in Acts 2:23, where we got the word in there, delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God, you have taken by wicked hands, have crucified and slain. And 10:24, he says, and he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that it is he which was ordained of God to be the judge of the quick and the dead. And 11:29, then the disciples, every man according to his ability, determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwelt in Judea. And this is an important one here, Acts 17:26. And he hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. I had this verse here. There's a couple of things in it. I think I got it over here somewhere. I think it's 17:24. Declaring again from the beginning. Well, I might have had it, but I don't. I guess I don't. Now let's just look at this. 17:26. We'll put the Strong's numbers up here. And he hath made of one blood all nations for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times, the kairos, the times, the seasons, before appointed. 4384 is a good word. Before appointed. It's like prohorizo, but it's before appointed. It's pro tasso. We got the pro, and we got tasso. To appoint or ordain or set, and we'll look at that. I got that on my list. Ordain. I don't have all the verses up there, but it's only like 8 verses. So we'll look at some of those, because I was looking at appoint, ordain, determine, and I just wanted to get some more verses besides the prohorizo verses that have to do with him doing everything before the foundation of the world. And we looked at a lot of those, but there's still some more stuck in there, and we're going to pull them out, and we'll get them little by little, because it's amazing how this works. And that's pro tasso, okay. And there's another word in here, 17:26, and I determined for the times appointed and the bounds. Here we go, the bounds, horothesia. Horothesia. It's the 37:24. That's the Horion. All right, there's the coast. Horion, coast, border, the boundaries. And you can say horizo too, but there's the Horion. And they put the H and the N on here. And titheme, to lay or to put, to place. So horothesia, the bound, and it's one time in the Bible. They call that the hapex legomena. When it's one time in the Bible, if you ever see that word, I used to say, what does that mean? Hapex legomena. Had to look it up. It's one time in the Bible. Horothesia. So that's the times before appointed, and the bounds has to do with this also. The bounds, 37:34, that's the horothesia, which we just saw. So there's 2 of them. The where is it again? Before appointed, the bounds, 34, and 43:84, protesso. So like I said, there's a lot of good words in there having to do with predestination. Acts 17:26. That's a good verse to springboard from. And I think I did. I thought I did. Let me try something here. And it says 23 verses here that springboard from this Acts 17:26. But we're looking at, like, you got 17:26, A, B, and C. So we're going to go down to C, A, B, C. Let me see. I have one farther. I think there would be, here we go. We'll start with this one. Acts 15:18. Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. And this has to do with the last section of this Acts 17:26. And you can springboard from this too. Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. That's a good one. But we'll just continue with some of these here. Remember the days of old, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, he separated the sons of Adam, and he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. All right, that's what they did in Joshua 2. Let me see the bounds here. The bounds in the Old Testament, Gebulah. coast, the bounds, place, the border, the boundary. And I don't have, I got this written down here, but yeah, I did. We might have touched on it last week because it's in last week's Gebul and Gebula, 1367 and 1366. Just let me give it a quick, in 1367. 1367. We might have looked at this last week's Gebula and Gebul, right? Yeah, Gebul, border, coast, comes from 1379, which is Gabal, or border, or to set the bounds. So you would find some good verses in here about setting bounds and borders and God doing all of that in 1367, Gebula. Yeah, there's 190 some odd verses here. We can't go through all of this, but that's setting up the borders and everything like that. All right, this is going to do with the borders. Let me come down here. All right, I've removed the bounds of the people. It's at the borders of the earth. That was made. Look at that. Here we go. Psalm 74:17. Thou hast set all the borders of the earth. Thou hast made summer and winter. So he's doing that. Inheritance of the coast, yeah, okay. In Joshua, when they do you'll find a lot of this in Joshua with the borders, the boundaries, and the borders, and all that stuff. But this is good. And let me see. And Job, we're gonna get back to Acts 15:18. I wanna put this on the side here. Let me put this on the side. All right, yeah. And 15:18. Wow, look at bounds. I just looked at this. Bounds to twist to make an enclosure. Yeah. Okay. Let me see, what other verse was I looking at here? Job 14:15. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are within thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Most likely talking about what? Talking about man. Talking to God about man. Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. Yeah, we know that. He cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not. And dost thou open thine eyes upon such an one, and bringest me into judgment with thee? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. Seeing his days are determined. Look at some of these words here. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, and thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Turn from him, that he may rest till he shall accomplish as an hireling his day. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to accomplish our day. But this determined is karat, determined. To sharpen, okay, determined, to cultivate, to sharpen. Karatz, the number of his months with thee, and now has appointed. That's a good one. That's a big verb. That's over 2,000 verses there, or 2,600 verses here. It means to do, or to make, or to wrought. Asa, osa. Oh, yeah, we'll look at that one of these days. And his bounds, what are his bounds? His coke, statute, ordinance, decree, do. You can look at all of these words here. You know there's something to do with laws, decrees, appointments, commandments, ordinance, limit, something prescribed. So that's a good word. Coke, 2706. Excuse me. Statute comes from kakak, lawgiver, governor, decree, to cut out, to inscribe, to engrave. Good words that he cannot pass. So he cannot pass. Let me see what this one is. My times are in thine hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies and from them that persecute me. So his times, my times are in your hand. F, time, season, event, evening tide, occurrence, experience, fortunes. Okay. I'm just, this is how I study. One word, one verse. Let's see, Lord spoke on appointed times. Isaiah 14:31. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved, for there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. It's all appointed. And who does the appointing? God. Moad, appointed place. Another, hapex legomena, one time in the Bible, appointed place. Comes from Ya'ad, which means to meet, together, to fix, to appoint, to assemble, to meet an appointment. So he said all these places, he said all these boundaries here. And it has to do with congregation too, a place of assembly, a meeting place. Look at all this TWOT. You can go and read all that. Well, too bad we don't have time for all that. So we just do this one verse. 45:21. Tell ye and bring them near. Yea, let them take counsel together. Who hath declared this from ancient time? Who hath told it from that time? Have not I the Lord? And there is no God else beside me, a just God and a Savior. There is none beside me. So he's doing it all. Daniel 11, talking about, this is like between the testaments here. And both of these kings' hearts shall do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper. For yet the end shall be at what? At the appointed time. And who appoints it? The appointed time. That's the moed again, a congregation. The time, appointed place, appointed time, or meeting. And in 35, he says, and some of them of understanding shall fall to try them and to purge them and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. It's probably the same thing. Yeah, moed. A moed. All right. Was by the earth, spoken by the Lord. Salvation spoken by the Lord. So that was good. It was just like a little springboard from Acts 17:26, and this other one from Acts 15:18. Look what it gives us. It gives us Acts 17:26. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Numbers 23:19. It's all happening because of him. And 41:22, Isaiah, let them bring them forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things what they be, that we may consider them and know the latter end of them, and declare us things for to come. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that you are gods. Yea, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together. So he's like telling these guys, that's like the prognosticators too. They don't know nothing. And who as I shall call and shall declare it, and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people, and the things that are coming and shall come, let them show unto them. So he's doing it all. Declare it in order, set it in order. Array, order, prepare, to arrange, to set or place in order. Since I appointed, sum, to put or to make, to place, to set, to appoint. I appointed the ancient people, and the things that are coming. It's probably bo. No, it's atha, come. And shall come. Let them show it. You think you're so smart? Show me. I did it already. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Boom. He hit the enter button. Everything's happening exactly how he wants it. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. We looked at that last week, from the foundation of the world. Another one here from the foundation of the world, Matthew 25:34. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Prepared for you. Hetoimazo. Hetoimazo. Prepared to make ready from the foundation of the world. It's all done already. We read this. Oh, we did. We read 1:4. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. And that's what we're looking for. Get holy, obtain an inheritance. We predestinated verse there. Ephesians 3:9, and to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, the church which from the beginning of the world hath been hid in God, who created all things by Jesus Christ. And 2 Thessalonians 2:13. We probably read all of these last week, but it's good. We can read them every day. But we are bound to give thanks always to God for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because God hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth. And we saw these last week. 1 Peter 1:20, foreordained before the foundation of the world. The book slain, the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So that was Jesus. And the beast which thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life. We're not going to wonder. We already know from the foundation of the world. When they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is, like when this country falls down, when everything collapses, they're going to be wondering. But we know that this is written. Anything that happens is from the foundation of the world. If this place prospers, which I doubt, or if it crumbles, which it most likely will, it's God's will. All right? And this, we were looking at this horizo here. All right? Resurrected. And he declared to be the Son with power according to the Spirit of holiness by the resurrection from the dead. And we did whom he had ordained. 17:31. We read that already? We did 26. So we'll do 26 to 31 and we'll see what happens here. 26 to 31. We read 26. And hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. We looked up 3 words in there. That they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far off from every one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. For as much then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone graven by art and man's device. And the times of this ignorance God winked at, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent. So we're not going to be doing it, going after these idols that don't see, hear, move, gold, stone, because he hath appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness, and it's already appointed. We're looking at this 37:24, I think it is. Appointed. This is histome. This is to stand or to set or to establish. So he appointed. He histome a day. I thought it was the other word, but it's histome. The cause to make the stand to put. So he established this day in 31. He appointed a day in which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he hath, this is the word we're looking at, hath ordained, horizo. Wherefore he hath given assurance unto all men in that he raised him from the dead. So we can take that to heart. He raised him from the dead. We believe it, and we're taking it to heart. Loves us. I don't know where I went next, but yeah, there was just a couple of words I was looking up. I did that 17th. Okay, there was a bunch of verses here. Let me just get these words out of the way here. This is 25:25. This is kathistame. Kata, we know that is to down from or through, according to kata, and histame, which is, come on, there we go. Here we go. Histame, to stand, to establish. We just saw that. The cause to make the stand. So kata histame, and that's the 25 kata histame. But let's see, obedience only made righteous. I don't know what verses I was looking at here, but not all of them have to do with adorned, or ordained, or appointed. Make him ruler, make thee a ruler, make him a ruler. So it's part of it has to be a ruler, and appoint over the business. Okay, he made him governor. Who made thee a ruler and a judge over us? This is right. Say that to somebody and they stone you to death. Who made you a ruler and a judge over that? This Moses whom they refused, saying, who made thee a ruler over a judge? The same did God send to be a ruler and a deliverer by the angel, the hand of the angel which appeared to him in the bush. So Stephen was giving them a history lesson, and they killed him for that. And they conducted Paul, brought him unto, okay, conducted. Why do you see all the English words here? And it's katahistame. And you got like 10 different English words here. So we throw the English out as soon as we find out what this words mean, man. For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous, ordained. Katistame. So he ordained elders in every city. And then in 2:7, he did set him over the works of his hands. So he's ordaining. For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men in things pertaining to God, that they may offer both gifts and sacrifices to sins. And that's what priests do. They offer sacrifice. And we're priests and kings now, so we offer acceptable sacrifices, which is what? Which is ourselves on the altar. For the law maketh men high priests, which have an infirmity, but the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son, who was consecrated forevermore. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, whereof it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. He's probably talking about Melchizedek there. So is the tongue. Look at this. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is katistame, the tongue among our members. Where did he get these translations from? I don't know. Kai, the glossa, the tongue, fire, per, which, the world, and unrighteousness, or two, glossa, katistame, and they put a world of iniquity, so is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it's set on fire of hell. Billy Joel probably read that one day. He said, we didn't start the fire. Okay. What? Get this simple word. The world is to make. They put is the enemy of God. Katistame. I'm just stifled sometimes about some of these guys put is for katistame. Make it that you need to be barren or unfruitful. Okay, so that's the katistame. And we saw how they just throw anything in there. And this is commanding. This is the word diatasso. And dia, we know, is by or through, dia, and tasso, which means to appoint or to ordain or to set or determine, to put in order, to assign. Some of these are military terms too, tasso, but diatasso. And so that the commanded is 12 appointed apostles, he says, and what did he tell this guy? He says, exact no more than that which is appointed you, commanded them, he commanded him, commanded. Let me see, 744. This is Stephen again. He says, "Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness, and he hath appointed, as he had appointed, speaking unto Moses that he should make it according to the fashion which he had seen." Everything was done according to the fashion. And he commanded. Let me see. 20, and we went before the ship and sailed into Assos, there intending to take Paul for a soul. He appointed, minding himself to go afoot. He's commanded. A lot of times you see commanded. Distributed to every man as the Lord hath called everyone, so let him walk, and so ordain I all the churches. Even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel, hopefully. Unless you're dupsikos, double-minded, double-tongued. The rest of the order when I come, giving you order. Okay. Galatians 3:19, wherefore then serveth the law? It was added because of transgressions, till the seed should come to whom the promise was made, and it was ordained by angels in the hand of a mediator. So he pointed. Titus was in Crete. Timothy was in Ephesus. Here it is, Titus. For this cause I left thee in Crete, thou shouldst set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city I had appointed thee. So you got a couple words in here. You got the set in order, of course, is the the ortho, one time in the Bible, set in order. And that's the orthos here, to set upright, straight, erect. So set it in order. Yeah, do it straight. And appointed, of course, we just looked at that. Appointed, 1299. The tassel. So, just some words I look at. I try to pick some things out that pertain to our study. And there's a bunch of verses here. Let me look at these verses now. Just go to look at some more Strong's numbers here. We looked at the 4384. That's it. 49, 29, I think we looked at already. No, and the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. So he's just telling them what to do. So he appointed them. He soon tasso. You can see the tasso there, but soon is with it. We looked at dia tasso. This is soon tasso. And soon is with or beside. And tasso, of course, is to appoint or to ordain. What's that other one I was thinking of? The military term. All right. And another verse here, and he gave them for the potter's field as the Lord appointed me. That's the 49:29. We looked at 43:84. You looked at 50:21. There was some in the Old Testament, 27:06. Oh, 27:06. That's a portion or ordinance statute. There were probably some good verses in here, but we can't go through all 124 of them. But this word here is the coke. We looked at that real quick. Coke, statute, ordinance, and decree, and if you want to look at that, like I said, there's a lot there. But 2706 and 2708. 2708, 2708. You'll find a lot of verses in there doing with appointing and statutes, ordinances, and everything like that. So, and this is the ordinance of the Passover, and it's ordinance that kept from season to season. So it's really just like a commandment or a law or a statute or something like that. That's the 2706 and 2708. And we got the 4150. I think I looked at that real quick. 4150. Something about the seasons. The moed. Okay, the congregation, appointed place, appointed time, meeting place. So yeah, I looked at a bunch of these. There's over 200 verses here. We can't get into that, but it's appointed time. And you could see when he's talking to Sarah and Abram, he says, "I'll come back in at the appointed time." Let me see, what's 17:21? And by my covenant, but my covenant I will establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. If that's not predestination, I don't know what is. Genesis 18:4. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. And then for Sarah conceived, and Abraham a son in his old age at the set time of which God had spoken unto him. So it's all appointed time. Like I said, there's over 200 verses, but it's a good word. If you want to go through it, the time appointed, and has mainly to do with congregation or to come together and things like that. But it's appointed time, appointed place, a meeting place. Like I said, there's 200 some odd verses there. We can't go through all of them later. So a lot of numbers. Look at that. For the time appointed, and Daniel, of course, the time appointed. We're always talking about the end times here. At the time appointed, he shall return. At the time appointed. So that's big in Daniel. And then the solemn feasts. Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Habakkuk 2:3. So it's coming, whether you like it or not. What was the other one? 66:35. Just some I don't know how I found them, but I was looking up different words, ordained, and what word was I looking at here? Host, army. 66:35 is Tzaba. Host, war, army, battle, sir. Appointed. So appointed is in there a couple of times, and this is Sabaoth. Okay, the Lord of Sabaoth, the Lord of the armies of Israel. So Sabaoth means armies. 66:35. So I don't have anything written next to that. So it was just the number I threw up there. Sabah in the Greek, Sabaoth, Lord of Sabaoth. There was a couple of verses. Daniel 11:27. Let me see. Let me go down to Daniel 11:27. 460 verses here. Daniel 11. So I just plucked out Daniel 11. Haggai's got a lot. Yeah, this has a lot to do with host and army. But I want to see this one in Daniel. I wrote it on the side here. 11:27. No, I must have been looking at something else. Daniel 10:1. In the third year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belteshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long. And he understood the thing, and he understood and had understanding of the vision. There's a couple of places where it said he didn't have an understanding. But I got Daniel 11:27 written in the margin in my book. 11:27, right? Or is it 10:27? Let me see. Yeah, okay, a time appointed. Yeah, and both these kings' hearts shall do this mission. Yeah, we read this already. This is the time appointed, but this word is 4150. So I don't know why I had that written next to 6635. That's okay. We looked at that already. That's good. All right, just getting them all down. And 4287, go back to the Greek here, 4287. So some of these obscure appointed words. There we go. Look at that. One time in the Bible. But is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Okay, big deal. Time appointed is prothesmios. Prothesmimos, time appointed. This is tithame, all right? Tithame. So you see that a lot. Tithame in a lot of words. To lay, to set, to put, to place. Protithame. And then escalation 2. And then let me look at Job. Job 7:1. I don't have a number next to it. I just have the verse here. Job 7:1. Let's see if it makes sense here. Is there not an appointed time to man upon the earth? Are not his days also like the days of a hireling? Sure is. Appointed time, that's the 6635, Sabah. The Lord of Sabaoth. And then 1414. Let me do a cross reference on this. Hold on a second. Cross reference on this 7:1. And 1414 should come in here, yeah. Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. That's great. All right. 14:13. Oh, that thou wouldst hide me in the grave, that thou wouldst keep me secret until thy wrath be past, that thou wouldst appoint me a set time and remember me. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time, I will wait till my change come. There's your resurrection right there. Make me to know my end, the measure of my days. Okay. He had 15 years. Hezekiah, he adds 15 years to Hezekiah's life. Not because he prayed for the 15 years. He was going to get it anyway. But in those 15 years, guess who was born? What was his name? Manasseh, right? So if he didn't give Hezekiah 15 more years, we wouldn't have his son, Manasseh, one of the most evil kings to ever live. Let's see. There's no light in him. Death is accomplished a hireling. Okay. I should have went through all of these and picked some out, but it's good parable here. Householder, sending out the laborers to the vineyard. Yeah. Is 9 evil because I am good? Everybody gets the penny. Everybody gets the same thing, no matter what time they come in. Back at 2:3, and of course the famous Ecclesiastes 3:1. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Everybody. To everything there is a season and a time to every person under the sun. You know that one. Michelle knows that one more than most of us. Appointed time, that's 2165. 2165. 165. Oops. 65. I set him a time. Okay, that's pretty good here. I set him a time. The Jews ordained, so their appointed time every year. Talking about Purim. All right, Purim. All right, to everything there is a season. Okay, that's the 2165, and that's the word zemon, a time or a season, a set time or appointed time. It comes from 2163 zaman, which means appointed, to appoint a time, be fixed, appointed. 2163. Let me do this real quick. 2163. There's 3 verses here. Wives in our cities come at the appointed times. Okay, we cast lots among the priests, the Levites, times appointed, year by year. Okay, at the times appointed of the first fruits. Okay, it's just talking about getting crops and getting wives and things like that. And Psalms. There was one here. Maybe I got it over here. Is this the one? Yes, Psalms 8, 3, and 4. Yeah. To ordain. And I had a bunch of stuff here with ordain. 1, 2, 3, 4 different things. I'm not going to go through all of this right now, but these verses here, Psalms 8 and 3 and 4, he says, when I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of it, or the son of man that thou visitest him? We're nothing here. We're worms. Ordained. Kun, prepare, establish, to be firm, to be stable, to be established, to set up, be established, be fixed. So he did it all. And there, the sun, the moon, and the stars, everything's going exactly how he wants it. And we looked at 1299. But this one verse has all of them in it. 1 Timothy 1:5. Is it 1 Timothy? Yeah, 1 Timothy 1:5. And now the end of the commandment. No, wait a second. That's not it. Let me see. 1930. I'll have to go this way. 1930. 30. Sometimes I get dyslexic. Here we go. Oh yeah, we did this. Titus. Excuse me. I got Titus. I got 1 Timothy there. It's Titus. Titus 1:5. Because there's a few words in here. We might have looked at this already. Because I left them in Crete that thou should set in order. We saw that. Epido, set in order. Things that are wanted and ordain. So you got this one, the kathistome in here. Ordain elders in every city as I had appointed thee. So you got all 3 of them in here. You got diatasso, you got ordain, and you got order. You got all 3 of them in there, in that one verse. And it's set in order to make everything nice. And then there's this one word here, 322. I wrote down, found this at the last second. Let me see, Luke 10:1. After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 and 2 before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come. And they prayed and said, thou, Lord, which knowest the hearts of all men, show whether of these 2 thou hast chosen. It's talking about Matthias and the other guy after Judas killed himself. Chosen. Eklegomai. Who's the elect? Eklegomai. That was 322, and that's the word anadiknumi. We know ana, of course, is the by or into the midst of, and diknuo means to show or to expose to the eyes. All right. Show which one of these 2. And we looked at 4929. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to throw it up here again. 4929. I think it sounds familiar. 4929. Yes, we saw that. And then 1303. 1303. Appoint you a kingdom. Oh yeah, and I appoint you. So this word is dia tithame. So you got the dia, which is by, through, And of course, tithame means to lay or to put or to lay in place. Dia and idea tithame, I appoint unto you a kingdom as my father had appointed unto me. You are the children of the prophets and of the covenant which God made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, and in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. And for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws in their mind, I'll write them in their hearts, and I will be to them God. I don't think is in there. And they shall be to me people. Death of the testator. Oh, that's interesting. For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the tithame, the testator. For a testament is of force after men are dead, otherwise it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth. This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts and in their minds, and I'll write them. Said that a couple of times. So he's doing it all. And that's 1303. But there was another set of verses I was looking at. I hope I wrote them down here somewhere. Is this it? Yeah, okay. Psalms 104:19. He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down. Thou makest darkness, and it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. The young lions roar after their prey and seek their meat from God. So he appointed, that's the 62:12, that's the Asah. All right, let me look at this next verse here. Job 30:23. For I know that thou wilt bring me to death into the house appointed for all living. There you go. The house appointed, and that's the 4150. That's the Moed. The house appointed for all living. We're all going there. And then Proverbs 8:29. When he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth. I think of this verse every time I'm on the beach. The waves crashing on the shore, and that's as far as they go. He gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass his commandment. When he appointed, 27:10, appointed, got the kakak, the lawgiver. So he's the lawgiver. When he appointed the foundations, the lawgiver, the foundations, the Mossad. Ooh, we look at that too, Mossad, the foundation of the earth. And Isaiah 28:25, when he had made plain the face thereof, doth he not cast abroad the fitches and scatter the cumin and cast the principal wheat and the appointed barley and the rye in their place? Sure he does. For his God does instruct him to discretion and doth teach. Appointed barley. Appointed is 55:67. Saman, to mark off. It's one time in the Bible. Let me look at it over here. Saman. Appointed, to mark off. Appointed, determined. All these little obscure words, man. We never would have found them. Occurs only as a nifil particle, nisman, in appointed place or a determined portion in Isaiah 28:25. So, first time I saw that one. Actually, the second time. But and who as I shall call and shall declare it and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people. We looked at this already. And the things that are coming and shall come, let them show them unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from the time and have declared it? You are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. So he appointed the ancient people. appointed is sum. So he put them, he made them, he placed them, he appointed them. Sum. And then this one here, Jeremiah 8:7. Yea, the stork in the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming. But my people know not the judgment of the Lord. We better know. Appointed times. That's the Mossad, the Moed. Yeah, there you go. So, a few of them I got there. And what else? Time appointed. Yeah, we looked at that. That's the Genesis. Okay, Jeremiah 8. We saw that. Jeremiah 8, 1 and 2. Just let me, I got this in the margin here. Jeremiah 8, 1 and 2. At that time, said the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the king of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of his priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves, and they shall spread them before the sun and the moon and all the host of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth. And death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, saith the Lord of hosts. And what family is this that he's talking about here? The whole Jewish race. These words are omitted by the Septuagint and Syriac versions. So, and then 14. Is it 14? Let me see. Yeah, it looks like it. Why do we sit still? Assemble yourselves and let us enter into the fenced cities, and let us be silent there. For the Lord our God hath put us to silence and given us water of gall to drink, because we have sinned against the Lord. I got this written down there, but we got to straighten up. We got to straighten up. What else we got? Let me see here. Whoa, I got a few down here. Ordained, Ordained 12 appointed. So you look up ordained in your word study, and you'll get these verses here. Ordained is 30 some odd verses. Point, apportion. We look at this, we look at that. Appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. I will appoint him a portion with the unbelievers. I appoint unto you a kingdom. I saw that already. Whom we appoint over his business. So appoint, and this ordained is 37 times. He ordained, okay. All right. I can't go through all of these. Timotheus ordained the first bishop of the church of the Ephesians, right? And Titus ordained the first bishops of the Cretans. That's right. Okay. What else? Give me a quick night tonight. Times appointed. We did this. Oh, here's the cross-reference on this one here. Acts 17:26. That was a good cross-reference on that protasso, appoint. All right. And known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. Yep. There's 23 verses here. Oh, that's the cross-reference for 17. Oh, so I had it up here already. Okay, I didn't have to do that. Okay. And we got the time appointed. I will return unto thee. There's 13 verses with time appointed. And so it could be, predestination. If it's the time appointed, it's predestined. So Daniel, this is all Daniel 11 about the time appointed. Okay. And we saw Galatians 4:2 about the tutors and the governors for the pedagogue, appointed time every year. We saw this. Is there not appointed time to man upon the earth? Are not his days like the days of a hireling? Yep. 14:14, we saw that. And Habakkuk 2:3, we saw that. All right. Appointed times. Yep, we saw this. Good. Did that. We're getting them down little by little. What do we got here? Well, there is declaring the end from the beginning. That's this like the big verse. Declaring the end from the beginning, and for ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my account shall still stand, and I will do all my pleasure. You just throw that up there, and everybody's got to shut up, you know. And then Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, and it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So that's us going out and spreading the word and speaking the truth. And it falls on whom it falls. And if they hear it, it'll come back. It won't return to him void. It'll go to where it's supposed to go. And this last one is that purge thing that I was looking at. All right, so we're good. I got all these pages out of here. And I think we're done then, because I got nothing else in my notes. And sovereign means super above, hooper above, supreme, supreme authority, reigning, independent of all others. So that's what sovereign means. So we'll just take a moment here. Thank you, God, for bringing us together, doing this quick study on a point, ordained, all the words that kind of like obscure and we don't run into too many times. And we know the biggies, you know, we know pro horizo and pro tasso, but these little words here, we thank you for them. They're all your word. They're all beautiful. And we're trying to get to every single one. The whole Bible. We want to define every single word in the Bible to get a better understanding of what you want from us. And I think it's happening. Gray mat is getting a little more wrinkled, so that's good. And we love you. We thank you. Give you all the praise in Jesus' name. Amen. So that's that. Yay, big hearts from Jeff. Big hearts from Alex. Yay, big hearts from Michael, from Timothy. Let's give these big hearts. Oh, let me turn off the recording. Thank y'all for everything. Bye.